So, we have been digging into the data on how homeowners are finding contractors in 2026, and honestly, the numbers are kind of alarming.
Yeah, alarming is definitely the right word for it. The landscape has totally shifted.
It really has. I mean, we all know the internet is constantly changing, but Google just rolled out these new artificial intelligence or AI features that literally answer people's questions right at the top of the search results.
Right, before they even have a chance to scroll down to the actual local businesses.
Exactly. And the data shows that clicks on traditional search results have dropped by 58% when those AI answers show up.
Think about that for a second. More than half of all clicks, just gone.
Just completely evaporated.
Yeah. That is traffic that used to go directly to the websites of local roofers, plumbers, and remodelers. For a long time, the goal was always to get your website to rank #1 so people would click it.
Right.
But now, the search engine is just summarizing the answer, pulling bits and pieces from all over the web, so the homeowner never even needs to visit a company's actual website.
Well, and I am looking at another piece of data here, and it gets even more intense. In Google's newest mode, a staggering 93% of searches end without anyone clicking on a single website.
93%. Wow. That completely changes the game.
It really does.
It means the old playbook of just, buying some keywords and hoping for website traffic simply does not work anymore. If you are a contractor who depends on people finding you through Google and you are trying to scale your business, we need to talk about what is happening right now.
Yeah, and what to actually do about it, because your potential customers are interacting with the internet in a fundamentally different way than they did even, say, 2 years ago.
Exactly.
So that is the mission for this deep dive. We're going to unpack exactly what is happening with this shift, how these systems are deciding who to recommend, and the immediate actions you must take to stay visible to the homeowners in your market.
And it is worth noting right up front that our research partners at Smart Business Automator spotted the zero-click trend early.
They really did.
Yeah, the market intelligence from Smart Business Automator really highlights that if you do not adapt to this new discovery era, you are essentially going to become invisible to local buyers. It is a harsh reality, but it is one we can navigate if we actually understand the mechanics.
So let us unpack this first big shift. We are looking at traditional search traffic across the board, and the projections show it is expected to drop by 25% by the end of 2026.
Which is a massive chunk of traffic to lose.
It is huge. And the main reason is that homeowners are just bypassing traditional search bars altogether. Instead, they are turning to conversational chatbots like ChatGPT to solve their household problems.
Right. They are not typing fragmented keywords anymore. They're having full conversations.
Which brings us to some massive industry news that dropped on March 4th, 2026. Angi actually launched an app directly inside ChatGPT.
That was a huge deal when it happened.
So instead of a homeowner going to a search engine and typing in something like plumber near me, they are literally just opening ChatGPT and saying, my hot water heater is leaking, it is making a weird hissing sound. Can you recommend a highly rated local contractor to fix it?
And the chatbot provides a localized, curated recommendation right there in the conversation.
I actually tested this out the other day when I was trying to figure out a problem with my own garbage disposal.
Oh, really? How did it go?
Well, instead of scrolling through 10 pages of sponsored links and trying to figure out who was legitimate, I just asked the bot. And it gave me 3 local plumbers, a summary of why they were good, and their phone numbers.
It is just so much faster.
It honestly felt like I was texting a very knowledgeable friend who had already done the background check for me.
And that is the exact psychological shift we are talking about here. The behavioral data on this is wild. Users who begin their search via this AI helper are 3 times more likely to request a quote.
3 times more likely. That is a massive jump in intent compared to traditional search.
It really is, and it makes perfect sense when you think about the friction involved. A homeowner having a conversation with a chatbot is already in a problem-solving mindset. They have bypassed the overwhelming wall of advertisements and conflicting information.
Right. The machine has narrowed down the choices for them, so they feel confident. They are not just window shopping at that point.
Exactly. They are ready to hire.
That brings up another interesting data point we found. Those same users who find a contractor through the chatbot are 25% more likely to report that the project was completed successfully.
Which is fascinating because it proves the AI matching is actually working for the consumer.
Yeah, it is not just some technological gimmick.
No, the artificial intelligence is doing a genuinely good job of matching the specific nuances of the homeowner's problem with the specific capabilities of the contractor. If you specialize in historic home renovations and a homeowner asks the bot for exactly that, it connects you to.
And when the consumer has a better experience, they're obviously going to keep returning to that tool for their next project.
Precisely.
So what does this all mean for you, the contractor sitting in your truck right now, listening to this? The biggest takeaway is that this is not some far-off prediction for the future. This is happening to your potential leads today. Homeowners in your specific town are opening these apps this morning and asking for recommendations.
Which naturally leads us to the big question.
Right. How does an artificial intelligence actually decide which contractor to recommend? How does it know who is good and who is terrible?
That is the core of what every business owner needs to understand today. Because the AI does not think the way the old search algorithms used to think.
The old systems just looked for keywords stuffed onto a web page.
Right. The new systems are looking for completely different signals to build a comprehensive reputation profile of your business. And the first major signal is the nuance of your Google reviews.
Wait, explain that nuance. Because we have all known for a decade that reviews matter. Getting 5 stars has always been the goal. Are you saying a 5-star average is not enough anymore?
That is exactly what I'm saying. The artificial intelligence actually reads the context and the specific words inside the reviews. It is looking for sentiment, specific services mentioned, and measurable outcomes.
So just having a high rating isn't the full picture.
No. If you have 50 reviews that just say, "Great job," or "Good guy," the AI does not learn much about your actual capabilities. But let us say you have a review that reads, "The crew arrived on time, wore booties to protect my hardwood floors, and fixed the recurring leak under the sink in under an hour."
Oh, I see.
The AI logs those specific data points. It logs punctuality, cleanliness, and plumbing leak repair.
I see your point. It is mining the reviews to build a list of your actual skills, not just looking at the math of your star rating.
Precisely. Furthermore, getting 1 new review per week is now vastly superior to getting a sudden burst of 20 reviews, followed by 6 months of total silence.
Why is that?
The AI values recency and consistency above almost everything else because it wants to recommend a business that is currently active and reliable right now, not one that was doing great 2 years ago.
That makes total sense. Consistency proves you're an active business. And speaking of being active, that ties directly into how you manage your overall online presence. Your Google Business Profile, or GBP, remains a top-tier ranking driver.
Absolutely.
The contractors who are actually winning right now are treating their GBP almost like a social media feed. They are uploading photos from the job site every week, and the AI is just eating that recency up.
It loves fresh data.
But beyond that profile, your actual website content has to be incredibly specific.
Yes. The artificial intelligence needs to know exactly what you do and exactly where you work. And the absolute best way to spoon-feed that information to the AI is through something called schema markup.
Okay, I have heard this term thrown around, but it sounds highly technical.
Yep.
Do I need to be a software engineer to understand schema markup?
Not at all. To explain it simply, schema markup is just hidden code on your website that tells search engines exactly what your business does, where you are located, what your operating hours are, and what services you offer.
So it is just organizing the information.
Right. Think of it like putting a perfectly organized filing cabinet inside your website that only the robots can read. When the AI visits your site, it does not have to guess what you do by reading your marketing copy. It just opens the filing cabinet and reads the exact data it needs.
And the numbers on this are unbelievable. Businesses using schema markup see a 45% higher artificial intelligence citation rate.
Let us pause on that. You are almost 50% more likely to be the contractor recommended by the chatbot just because you formatted your website's hidden data correctly.
That is practically a cheat code for visibility.
It really is. It is the lowest hanging fruit for your digital strategy today.
That is wild. Now, here's where the data gets genuinely surprising. When we look at the sources that these artificial intelligence models actually trust the most to figure out if you are a good contractor, one of the biggest heavyweights is Reddit.
I know it sounds counterintuitive to think of a forum site as a major business driver, but it makes perfect sense when you understand how these systems learn.
Right, because ChatGPT and other models scan the entire internet, but they place a massive premium on authenticity.
Exactly. Because Reddit is a community-moderated platform where real humans upvote helpful answers and downvote spam, the artificial intelligence views those conversations as highly authentic and trustworthy.
So if real people in your local town subreddit are mentioning your roofing company by name as the most honest crew in the area, the AI weighs that recommendation extremely heavily.
Far more than you would think.
It values that raw conversation more than whatever polished marketing copy you put on your own homepage.
That is a perfect way to look at it. And the market intelligence from Smart Business Automator flagged this shift toward community trust signals as a major blind spot for most local businesses.
It is completely off their radar.
It is. If you are only focused on traditional search metrics and ignoring what people are actually saying about you in community forums, you are completely missing where the artificial intelligence is doing its background checks.
Okay, let us switch gears a bit. Let us say the artificial intelligence does recommend you, or a homeowner searches locally on their mobile phone and finds you. We need to talk about what happens next.
Right, the actual conversion.
Because the intent behind that mobile search is incredibly high. We are talking about people who need a solution immediately.
Let us look at the data on that immediacy. 88% of consumers who search locally on mobile visit or call a business within 24 hours.
88%. That is almost everyone.
Think about how crucial it is to capture that immediate demand. If someone is searching for a local service on their phone, they are not browsing for fun. They have water pouring through their ceiling, their air conditioner just died in July, or they are finally ready to write a check for that kitchen remodel.
Their wallet is basically out on the table. But here is the tragedy we are seeing in the local search data. Contractors are losing these high-intent leads the second the homeowner actually lands on their website. We call this website friction. You finally get the homeowner to your page, and then you make it incredibly difficult for them to actually contact you.
The data paints a very clear picture of this friction. Reducing a contact form from 11 fields down to just 4 fields creates a 120% conversion lift.
Wait, let me push back on that for a second.
Yeah.
If I am a busy contractor, shouldn't I be asking for their square footage, their budget, and their timeline up front so I do not waste my time on unqualified leads? Does reducing the form just bring in a bunch of tire kickers?
It is a common concern, but you have to look at it from the psychology of the buyer in that moment. Stop making it hard for people to give you their money.
Okay, fair point.
If a homeowner is standing in a flooded kitchen, the last thing they want to do is fill out a complex questionnaire on a tiny phone screen asking how they heard about you and what their budget is. They are stressed.
Yeah, they're panicking.
They just want a phone number to call or a very simple form that asks for their name, their phone number, and a brief description of the problem.
So the goal is just to capture the lead as fast as possible. You can ask all those qualifying questions once you actually have them on the phone.
Exactly, because that friction is especially painful right now due to the skyrocketing cost of getting that homeowner to your website in the first place.
Yeah.
Across industries, the customer acquisition cost has tripled over the last 8 years.
Tripled. That is a staggering increase.
It really is. That means if you were paying $50 in marketing to acquire a customer a few years ago, you are paying $150 for that exact same customer today.
Wow.
Competition is fierce. Private equity money is flooding into the home services space, driving up ad costs, and it is just harder to stand out.
Yeah.
And this is exactly why the data from Smart Business Automator shows how critical it is to eliminate busy work and friction on your end.
You have to be incredibly efficient so you can actually afford these rising lead costs.
Yes. If you are paying 3 times more for a lead, your internal systems have to be flawless.
You cannot afford to let a single one of those expensive leads bounce off your website because the page took too long to load or your contact form felt like taking the SATs.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have covered the AI shift, the trust signals, and the conversion friction. While everyone is panicking about these chatbots, I noticed something else in the data that contractors are totally ignoring.
What is that?
People aren't even typing anymore. They are just yelling questions at their kitchen counters. Let us talk about voice search.
Yes. This is a massive, untapped frontier. When people think of search, they still picture someone sitting at a keyboard typing. But behavior has fundamentally changed, especially in the home.
The projections show that 157 million Americans will use voice assistants in 2026.
Let that number sink in, 157 million.
It is almost half the country.
That is nearly half the population of the country talking to their phones, their smart speakers, their cars, and their watches to find information.
And here is the stat that should make every listener sit up and evaluate their strategy today. 76% of smart speaker users search for local services weekly.
They are literally asking the speaker on their kitchen counter to find a local contractor, a cleaner, or a landscaper every single week. It has become a routine habit.
But listen to this next part. Only 13% of marketers optimize for it.
That gap between 76% of consumers using it and only 13% of businesses optimizing for it is a massive opportunity.
It really is.
It is a blue ocean for you to dominate your local market. If consumers are asking for help and barely anyone is trying to answer them, the playing field is wide open.
So how do you actually optimize for a smart speaker? It is not like they are typing in roofer Chicago.
No, you have to match the natural spoken language of the homeowner. Optimizing for voice search means answering specific natural language questions on your website. Do not just have a page titled Plumbing Services.
Right.
Have an FAQ section that specifically answers the question, how much does it cost to fix a running toilet in Chicago? Or, who is the best emergency roofer near me? Because that is exactly how people speak to their devices. You want your website to be the exact answer the smart speaker reads out loud.
That makes total sense. Now, while we're talking about capturing leads and rising costs, we also need to look at how you are spending your ad budget.
This is critical.
We need to compare traditional Google ads, which operate on a pay-per-click model, versus Google Local Service Ads, or LSA, which operate on a pay-per-lead model.
This is a crucial distinction, especially given what we just discussed about rising acquisition costs. Traditional search engine optimization, or SEO, and traditional pay-per-click keywords have become incredibly expensive.
To give you some context on just how expensive highly competitive traditional search terms like AC repair can cost over $90 just for a single click in some markets.
And remember, that is just a click. That is not a guaranteed phone call. That is not a book job. That is $90 just to get someone to look at your website. And if they get frustrated by a long contact form and hit the back button, you just burn $90 for absolutely nothing.
It is infuriating to think about wasting budget like that. Meanwhile, local service ads provide actual verified leads for much more predictable costs. For example, the data shows that through LSA, a plumbing lead averages around $69.
Which is a massive difference in value. You are paying $69 for someone who is actually contacting your business with a real plumbing issue versus paying $90 for a mere click that might bounce.
And obviously it varies by trade and market, but the predictability is the key factor here. A painting laid through local service ads runs around $40.
The cost per lid, or CPL, is just far more manageable when you are paying for actual connections. It removes a significant amount of the gambling from your marketing spend. If you know every valid lid costs you $40, you can actually build a predictable growth engine for your business.
So we have covered a massive amount of ground today. We have looked at the drop in traditional search, the rise of chatbots acting as local concierges, the hidden signals that artificial intelligence uses to judge your reputation, the urgent need to remove friction from your website, and the blue ocean of voice search.
It is a lot to take in, but if we synthesize all of this data, the overriding message is very clear.
What is that bottom line?
The era of simply stuffing keywords onto a web page and hoping the phone rings is completely over. To scale your construction business today, you have to build a digital presence that caters to these new artificial intelligence gatekeepers.
Right.
You need clear data signals like schema markup so the bots understand you. You need a steady, consistent drip of detailed, context-rich reviews. And you absolutely must provide a frictionless mobile experience so that when high-intent local buyers finally do reach you, they can contact you in seconds without jumping through hoops.
It is all about adapting to the reality of how the modern homeowner operates. And I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder as you get back to running your business or driving to your next job site today.
Let's hear it.
If artificial intelligence is essentially scanning the entire internet to build a reputation profile of your contracting business before a homeowner ever even sees your name, what does your digital footprint actually say about you right now? If you opened your phone, went to ChatGPT today and asked it who the best contractor in your town is, would it even know you exist?
That is the ultimate test of your digital strategy today. It is a completely new landscape.
It really is. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Take a hard look at your online presence this week. Get that schema markup installed, simplify those contact forms to capture the immediate demand, and keep scaling your business. We will see you on the next deep dive.